What's up guys? Today I'm gonna show you how to make a delicious tasting shrimp taco in only about 25 minutes start to finish. How am I gonna prove it? Well, my wife Lauren is helping me film and she's gonna start a timer right now. And we're gonna do this thing live. Let's get started. So I'm gonna first grab some shrimp. I've got a 5160 shrimp here. This is a 2-pound bag, but I'm only gonna thaw like 1.5 pounds of it. I'm gonna do that in the sink under some cold running water because I wanted to prove to you guys that this bag is really hard to open. That this recipe could be made with no foresight. You don't need to plan ahead to get the shrimp properly thawed. You can do it in about 5 minutes in the sink. So 1.5 pounds of this 5160 going into my sink in my salad spinner, and then I'm just gonna run cold water over it for 5 minutes or so.
Enough for about 6 tacos, right?
Yeah, each taco needs 2 to 3 ounces of shrimp. And once these shrimp are cooked down and thawed, they're gonna lose a lot of water, so they're gonna lose some weight. Starting with 1.5 pounds, make sure that we have plenty of shrimp in the taco. Next, while that thaws, I'm gonna make some crunchy slaw to put on top. So for that, I'll need 1/4 head of a cabbage. I just cut out the core yesterday. Oh, by the way, full disclosure, we filmed this video 2 times yesterday. The first time I kind of screwed up the recipe and was a little bit grumpy on camera. So we did it again and I didn't plug my microphone in. So 3rd time's the charm. Okay, 1/4 head of cabbage and a mandolin. Feel free to use a knife instead of a mandolin if you don't feel qualified here. Mandolins are kind of dangerous. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. In the restaurant, I cut myself many times badly with a mandolin, and that's kind of the only way to learn. Unfortunately,
that's how you get qualified.
Yeah, is through trial, through fire and blood, baby. Another alternative would be to buy some of that pre-shredded cabbage mix from the grocery store. That stuff's pretty good, and it's going to be very similar to slicing it on a mandolin, but the thing I don't love about that is that it's been sitting in a bag for a long time and it's kind of dry and it's not very juicy or fresh and it doesn't have that much flavor. So it's more of like a textural thing. Okay, so I've got maybe 3 cups-ish of shredded cabbage here. So I'm just gonna slide that off to the side real quick. Then I'm gonna grab a large carrot and another specialty tool that makes weeknight cookery a lot more fun and easy, a julienne peeler. You can get this at the International Grocery Store or you can buy it on Amazon. It's like $6 and I've called it out in my videos a lot before. It just makes shredding vegetables of any kind much easier. So to do it, I'll just go from the skinny end towards the fat end and zip it off just like I'm using a regular Y peeler. And
you used the julienne peeler to peel the carrot before you started.
Yeah, that's another thing is like you don't need to get a peeler dirty. You can just use the julienne peeler for that. Again, a knife would totally work if you don't want to make another specialty tool dirty. I know minimizing dishes is very important on a weeknight. Maybe sometimes I use a little bit too many dishes because I'm generally not the one who ends up having to clean up. But you know, if you're the cooker and the cleaner, you got to think about this stuff. So you could just julienne it with a knife, but you would probably want to add like 4 to 5 minutes to the cook time, just because even I, as somebody who has julienned thousands of carrots in his life, it's not the fastest process in the world. So I'm just going to, I guess, snack on this carrot and then grab another veggie to cut up for my slaw real quick. That's gonna be 1 fresh jalapeno. So I'll just cut off the stem real quick and then I'll cut off the sides into planks, getting rid of as much of that pithy rib part as I can. The part's kind of watery and it's a little bit too spicy, depending on the jalapeno.
Do you have a reason for cutting through the skin instead of the flesh?
Just for me, it's like the skin side facing up usually gives me a flatter thing to cut. The pit side just lays flatter. And my knife is sharp enough to cut through it. If you have a dull knife, you should probably be going inside to outside. Like the skin side should be touching your cutting board. So once I've got these kind of rough julienne, I'll just cut them in half. And now I've got 3 cups cabbage, 1.5 cups of carrots, and 1 jalapeno. And then there's one last bit of knife work I'm gonna do before we move into dressing this, which is grabbing a little bit of fresh cilantro and just tearing off 1/3 of a bunch. And then I'll just give that a really quick rustic chop. This is gonna help bring some freshness to the salad or slaw and just make the taco nice and fresh. Cilantro is a crucial move for that sort of like Baja style shrimp or fish taco. And it's gonna pair really well with the green flavor of the jalapeno. So, rustic chop. This is weeknight cookery, so it's not about making it perfect or beautiful. Everything's cut up. I'm just gonna scoot it real quick into a bowl, and then we're gonna dress it up.
And we're at about 6 minutes on the timer.
Not bad. You know, even if you're slow at cutting stuff and you're doing it all by hand, I can't see it taking longer than 10 minutes to get to this point. Okay, everything's in the bowl, so the way we're gonna season this is very simple. We're gonna give it a nice strong pinch of salt. Don't be shy on that. That's going to season everything up, make it taste good, but it's also gonna draw out some moisture that keeps these tacos from being overly juicy. Then I'm gonna add about a tablespoon of honey, or agave syrup would probably work a little bit better. It's a little thinner and mixes. Like when I go to mix this, I'm gonna get honey all over myself. And then I've got 1 whole lime. It feels like a pretty juicy lime, and that's good because we definitely want this to be a acid forward slaw. This slaw is gonna pretty much carry the acidity for the entire taco. So 1 whole lime, and then, you know, to keep my hands kind of clean, I think I'll go tongs here and just toss to coat. Okay, and once that's all tossed together, of course, I wanna give it a quick taste. Maybe a little bit more honey, just a little sour. So that's like a tablespoon and a teaspoon in total. I'll just mix that together real quick. You wanna make sure that the salt, sour, and sweet are all in balance on something like this. A lot of people can't identify when things are too tart and then they don't like it and they can't really say why. So just keep that in mind when you're tasting and developing your palate. Too sour can put you in a bad mood, but you're not really like sure why. So usually it's just a little bit more sugar. Okay, so that's looking good. We got a lot of nice fresh herb and jalapeno flavor. It's also gonna bring a lot of texture to this taco. So I'm gonna set this aside and then make 2 quick condiments while we're waiting for that shrimp to finish thawing out. I'll just grab a medium bowl here and then 2 ripe avocados. We're gonna make something that I call weekday guac, which is not exactly guacamole. It's basically just seasoned up avocado paste. It's a good way to get something that feels like guacamole. It has the spirit of guacamole, but it's way faster to make and serves its purpose. It's gonna bring a little bit of a creamy texture to the taco, and once we get it all seasoned up, it's gonna be very delicious. And you won't even know that it's not like true guac. Once I've got 2 nice, creamy, ripe avocados in my bowl here, ooh, I've got avocado on my sock.
Guac on the sock.
Yeah, guac on the sock, dude.
No!
These are clean. These are clean socks, bro.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Oh, man.
So, strong pinch of salt. Then we're going to grab another lime, cut it in half, and then add in the juice. 1 whole lime would be way too sour. I'm actually gonna hold a little bit back here. It's probably, for 2 medium large ripe avocados, it's probably like a tablespoon of lime juice. Be careful, a little bit too much sour, again, can bum you out. Okay, 1 large garlic clove. And like I've said in videos past, for weeknight cooking, man, just buy peeled garlic. You're probably gonna throw some away, it'll get moldy in your fridge. The package that comes from the store has way too much garlic in it for like a family using garlic. So just save yourself the 10 minutes. Getting your board all sticky and papery during the week trying to peel garlic is a bummer. And it adds like 5 minutes to a 25-minute recipe. That is an outrageous amount of extra time for something as simple as garlic. So that's just my opinion. That's me, guys. Okay, so 1 large garlic clove goes in. Then to approximate the 2 other fresh things that we would normally add to guacamole, I'm going to add in some onion powder, maybe like a half a teaspoon or a quarter of a teaspoon, not a lot. That's going to approximate the fresh onion, and then a little bit of chili flake. That's gonna kind of, you know, give it the whisper of jalapeno, fresh jalapeno. And then now it's just a fork and a mash to make seasoned avocado paste, or guac.
I've seen you use dried garlic in this recipe in the past. Why'd you choose fresh this time?
Well, I'm gonna be using fresh garlic for the next condiment, and my garlic press is already dirty, so it just made sense to like use fresh for both. But if you are just making the guac, feel free to use dried garlic. That's what we do on weeknights a lot of the time. Or if I'm making like a breakfast taco that has this smeared smashed avocado on it, onion powder, garlic powder. Plus, like, you don't really want to start your day with a bunch of fresh garlic. It's gonna give you dragon breath. Okay, it's all mashed up, so a quick taste. Ooh, salty in a good way, bright with lemon, and I really like the onion powder, delicious. Okay.
12 minutes.
We've got slaw made and guac. So now one more condiment before we cook the shrimp. But first, let me quickly thank Magic Spoon for sponsoring this video.
If you know me at all, you know that I love cereal.
I literally can't stop eating this.
It's right up there with pizza and French fries on my list of all-time favorite foods. But most cereals on the shelf are loaded with sugar and other junk that you don't want to put in your body. Magic Spoon, though, is not like other cereals. To get technical about it, it's naturally flavored, it has 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 to 5 grams of net carbs in each serving. The protein and the net carbs are great for anyone who tracks their macros. Protein, bro. But for me, the real hook is that this cereal actually tastes very good. The Frosted, you guys. Oh my God. So to get your hands on some delicious tasting cereal, click the link below and build your own variety box. You'll get $5 off when you do that with my code Brian Lagerstrom. They've got cocoa, fruity, frosted, peanut butter, and a bunch of others that are very, very dope. I'm looking at you, birthday cake. Again, to get $5 off, click the link below or scan this QR code and use code Brian Lagerstrom at magicspoon.com/Brian Lagerstrom.
We're gonna make a spicy garlic mayo to put on top of this whole thing to make it a little bit more craveable, bring some additional garlic flavor because why not? And to make it kind of creamy. I've got some nice tasting mayo here. This is Duke's Real Mayonnaise, smooth and creamy. I like this over a lot of the name brand mayonnaises out there because it just tastes like the mayonnaise that you would make yourself, or it's pretty close. A lot of big names. I got some chili flakes on that guac, dude. I'm good. I can handle it. A lot of the name brand mayo. All right, I'm fine. I need to get a little water now, though. Okay, a lot of the name brand mayonnaises out there just have kind of an acrid oxidized flavor that I don't like, and Duke's doesn't have that. We're not sponsored by them, but I can endorse it. So I've got about a half a cup, maybe slightly more, in a bowl. Next, I'm gonna go in with a couple teaspoons of sriracha. Let's call it a tablespoon and a half. If you don't have sriracha, hot sauce would work, but save the lime because hot sauce is quite a bit more sour than sriracha. Okay, so I'm gonna take the other half lime from the guacamole here and add in a little bit, maybe 2 teaspoons. Then I got my garlic press again and my pre-peeled garlic clove. And I'm just gonna squirt that in real quick. 4 ingredients, very simple, very fast. And this goes good on more than just tacos. Any sort of craveable weeknight thing that you're making, like this spicy mayo goes great on like a sushi inspired salad or like a Asian rice bowl. It kind of gives you that like spicy tuna vibe. Next, we need to grab a spoon to mix this all together. A little goes a long way here. You only need about a teaspoon and a half for each taco.
This is just to make it fun.
Yeah, it brings a definitely like a high school like nacho cheese texture. Okay, quick taste. Delicious. A good amount of fresh garlic, not too much, a little bit spicy, and the mayo tastes good on its own, so that's a huge point. So we're right at about the 14-minute mark, and we've got our crunchy slaw made and both of our condiments. The only thing that's left now is to warm up some tortillas and then cook the shrimp. So I'm gonna head back over to the sink now to check on the shrimp. And they've been in the cold water for 13, 14 minutes, and they are completely thawed. They're good to go. They really only take about 5 minutes. You could have cooked these a lot sooner. I put them in the salad spinner because it just allows the excessive moisture to drain away and keeps them from getting soggy once we cook them. I'm gonna set the shrimp aside real quick though and let them drain, and we're gonna quickly heat up some tortillas on the propane burner. I'm gonna do the tortillas first because I wanna use the same pan for these and the shrimp. Again, weeknight cooking is about saving dishes. And these go really fast. I'm going with just like a basic 6-inch flour tortilla here because they're soft, they've got a little bit of sweetness, and for me, a seafood taco just goes on flour. Of course, if you like corn, definitely feel free to sub that. I'm only gonna be heating up 3 of these flour ones because Lauren's actually gonna be eating her shrimp taco lunch on corn. So I'm just gonna throw in another couple of these for myself, and I'll see you back here in like a minute.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
So I've got 3 hot tortillas here, and as they come off the pan, I'm just throwing them into the tortilla warmer. This keeps them fresh and floppy while I cook my shrimp. Definitely get one of these if you don't have one. So we'll just set those aside and then grab my shrimp and a bowl to season them in. I wanna get the spices and salt and oil on the shrimp before I throw them in the pan because they're gonna cook very quickly. And if I spend time fooling around, getting the spices together and all that stuff, it's just gonna be too long and the shrimp will be done by the time I get everything in the pan. Since these are only 5160s, they're gonna cook in like a minute and a half. So I'm gonna add in a good long squiggle of olive oil, a nice strong pinch of salt, maybe a teaspoon, maybe a little bit more. Then I'm gonna grab some taco seasonings real quick. I've got my pan over medium-ish heat here, by the way. I'm gonna have a sizzle on the shrimp when it goes in just a second. So I'm gonna start with some regular paprika, maybe a half a teaspoon. I'll do the same for some chili powder and some cumin. If you have like a taco seasoning packet hanging out in your cabinet somewhere, feel free to use that. We're just looking to add a little bit of zest, a little bit of life to the shrimp. And you know, if you got like Ortega brand powder, it's gonna be totally fine. So onion powder, garlic powder to round it all out.
And these measurements don't have to be exact, right? You're just estimating.
Keep it breezy, guys, okay? So I'm just going to give that a quick toss in a bowl that is slightly too small for this. Okay, and once I've got these coated in oil, salt, and spices, I'm gonna drop one in real quick to see if it sizzles, and it does. So I'm gonna hit the pan with just a little bit more oil to transfer that heat to the shrimp, and then throw the shrimp in. I feel good about this heat level. This is gonna cook the shrimp in about 2 minutes. So I'm just gonna spread them out into an even flat layer and let them cook on that first side for a minute or so.
What are you looking for to know when they're done?
Well, we don't want to go to that 100% opaque quality in like a boiled shrimp, because that would mean that they're going to carry over to like a very, very well done. That type of shrimp in this context is going to be rubbery and dry. So we want to pull them just as like the corners and edges are starting to make that transfer from the translucent to opaque. Again, at medium heat for this amount of shrimp, it takes about 2 minutes. They are gonna cook just a little bit more. While that cooks on the first side, I'm gonna take my dirty shrimp bowl and just give it a quick rinse so I have a place to pull them.
And as an update, we're at 19 minutes.
It's important to get the shrimp out of the pan as soon as they're cooked because, again, they're very small and too much heat is gonna make them not very pleasant. That's really the only bit of technical cookery in this whole dish. It's very simple otherwise. We just wanna make sure that we're paying attention and getting these shrimp right. So I've got a clean bowl to land my shrimp on as soon as they're cooked. And I can see that like the bottom sides of these shrimp are starting to make the transition from translucent to opaque. So I'm just gonna give the whole thing a quick toss and then spread it out in an even layer again. If I see any shrimp that are like totally raw facing up, I'll just come back and like flip those over real quick. It's not too many, this is looking pretty good. After I flip it, it's already about 60% of the way cooked. So we're just gonna give this another 30 or 40 seconds. While those cook, I'm gonna gather my toppings and slaw and everything and a plate to plate up these tacos on real quick. So it's been about 2 minutes, so I'm gonna kill the heat, taste the shrimp. It's plump, it's snappy, and it's like soft, but in a good way. So I'm just gonna pull these off the heat real quick and throw them into my bowl. They're just taco flavored shrimp, very simple. It's really to just have a taco filling. There's a little bit of this shrimp juice in the pan here. You could save that if you want to. I'm not going to because it's gonna make my tacos kind of wet. And then when I go to take a bite, all that shrimp juice is gonna go down to my elbow and it's gonna make a mess of like shrimp taco soup on my plate. I hate that. So 86 shrimp juice. Cue all the people in the comments that are like, that's perfectly good shrimp stock, bro. Why did you get rid of that? You suck. You suck. Okay, we're looking good. What's our time?
We're at 21 minutes right before plate up.
21 minutes,
You
baby.
crushed it.
Okay, let's plate this thing up.
Okay.
First thing down is gonna be a hot and floppy flour tortilla. Then I'm gonna put down, I don't know, a heaping tablespoon, maybe a little bit more of my guacamole, in quotes. I'll just give that a quick spread out. Then some shrimpies, let's say 8 or 9 of these small guys. You can see how much they shrunk from when they were frozen. So I'll just sneak those on. Then a little bit of my nice fresh jalapeno cilantro slaw. I go heavy on that. I like a lot of it. It's gonna bring some really beautiful acidity to this taco. Then I snuck my spicy mayo into a squeezer because I'm a bad boy like that. And I'll just top that like right on top.
Generous.
Yeah, generous bit of mayo. Earlier I was like, you don't wanna put too much because then it's like junk food, but ooh, look at that, dude. That looks so sick. Okay, now let's taste this thing. Ready?
Yes. Wow.
Dude, I love shrimp.
That's my line.
The thing that I love about this taco is that there's multiple types of creaminess going on. You got spicy garlic mayo, and you got a little bit of guacamole.
That garlic mayo is like junk food. And you know,
Yeah,
creams it up.
it makes this taco very craveable. Anyways, that taco took like 21 minutes from start to finish. I hope you guys can have a similar experience, and I hope you give it a try soon. Let me know down in the comments what you think about it. And also, if you like craveable, delicious weeknight taco recipes, check out this recipe for a weeknight Euro taco. It's very fresh, it's very delicious, and I hope you like it. As always, thank you so much for your time and attention. Thank you for sticking around to the end of the video, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.